Everybody loves lists, and we've got the next top 10 for you, courtesy of Jarom Jordan. He's stepping away
10
from
lists in 10 weeks. It's Jarom 10 and 10.
Yes, it is, Spencer. We are anxious to get to it.
Thank you for stepping away from your synchronized diving and coaching there.
It's time to go. Well, it is my wide receivers and tight ends the top 10 BYU will face. Number 10, Mitch Guller, wide receiver, Idaho State.
They did it!
He's the only Bengal represented on any of these lists. He's an All-American FCS player. He had 20 yards per catch last year, 9 touchdowns, 62 total grabs for 1,200 yards. He needs 225 yards to become the all-time leading receiver in school history. He'll be 27 this November, which is a huge advantage. Wait, what? He played minor league baseball for 5 seasons.
Couple of things. One, don't sleep on Idaho State. And two, he's the best receiver that the Bengals have had since Madison Mangum.
There you go. Nice drop. Number 9, Mitchell Wilcox, tight end, South Florida. The senior nearly went pro last year after a first-team All-AC season with school records of 43 catches and 540 yards. Both would have led BYU, by the way.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, what? Number 8, Antonio Gandy Golden, wide receiver, Liberty. The Gandy man can. Yep. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Last season, he put up 245 at Nuevo Mexico, 205 at UMass. Second most yards per game among returning pass catchers on BYU's.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of touchdowns. Every time we talk about a Liberty player, I just get more and more worried about when BYU has to play a road game against Liberty. They are a sneaky team.
They've got a good little trio, right? They'll lose a couple of these guys before they play at Liberty, though. Number 7, John Hightower, wide receiver, Boise State. Explosive receiver, 8 touchdowns on 39 touches last season, 6 plays of 40-plus, 16 yards per catch.
He's got to be he's playing against Diane Gawoliku, most likely. Cannot wait to watch that matchup.
And then Diane will intercept it and run by a kind of skewed, curvy line down the sideline again?
Well, it's in Provo, so the sideline will be pristine and perfect.
Yes, next year. Number 6, Britton Covey, wide receiver, Utah. As a sophomore, he had 60 catches for a team-high 637 yards. Tore his ACL and meniscus in the Pac-12 title game. Dynamic in space, good kick returner. But will he be ready for August 29th since he tore his ACL and meniscus in December?
Yeah, that's the thing. Britton's a good player, and I keep asking myself, why is he not at BYU? But I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have because BYU will be his first game back. That's a tough situation.
Number 5, Marquez Callaway, wide receiver, Tennessee. Led the Volunteers with 592 yards, 16 yards a catch, and 2 touchdowns in 2018. Went for 50-plus in 7 games last season, including 2 for 98 against Missouri.
This dude is a baller. Admittedly, I'm very concerned about what BYU does against him in Knoxville in early September.
Most of the teams BYU will play this year will have one guy that you got to keep an eye on as a wide receiver, right? The Hail Mary against Kentucky was a huge play. Number 4, Randall St. Felix, wide receiver, South Florida. 21 yards a catch, was 8th in the country. 679 yards total, 4 touchdowns. He had 6 grabs for 165 in the Gasparilla Bowl. Stretcher of defenses. He could be USF's first 1,000-yard receiver ever.
What did you say? Fix it, Felix? He's that guy for USF.
He might fix that offense that team that lost 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
Yeah, actually 7 in a row. Yeah. Number 3, where? Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love this name, USC. This uniquely named receiver had 60 catches, 750 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns as a freshman. At Texas last year in his 3rd game of college football, had 9 grabs for 167 yards. Went 10 for 94 against a playoff team, Notre Dame, to finish the season.
He's one of 2 NFL receivers on this USC team. The second, I believe, will be coming up shortly.
Well, they might have 3. I left Tyler Vaughn's off the list. He could be on this list. Number 2, Aaron Fuller, wide receiver, Washington. 5'11", 183-pounder, led the Huskies, 58 catches, 874 yards, 4 touchdowns. Put up 100 in 4 games, notably against Auburn, Utah, BYU, and UCLA. Top 10 in the pack in receiving yards and yards per catch.
Say hello to Jacob Eason's best friend.
And the top receiver BYU will play in 2019 is Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver, USC. Pittman led the Trojans with 758 yards, 6 touchdowns. Led the Pac-12 with 18.5 yards per catch. Top 10 in the other 2. Went over 100 yards in 3 of the last 5 games, including 6 for 155 and 2 scores against Colorado in October.
Can he lead USC against BYU in that perceived trap game? Because the wide receivers for USC are easily the best in the Pac-12.
They're the best group BYU will face.
Yes.
This year, by far.
Ugh.
What wide receiver and tight end? Yeah. USC's loaded. They're always loaded at wide receiver, right? I only had 2 Trojans on this list. I could have put Tyler Vaughn's on this list, who's really good. He had 115 for 1483 the last 2 years. He's good.
So why do we think BYU has a good shot to beat USC again? Just because of the placement of the schedule?
Well, someone has to snap the ball and throw the ball. And they have to defend, right?
Okay.
Because USC went 5-7 last year.
Yeah. With those numbers, they still went 5-7 at wide receiver.
Wild, right?
How about that?
There are actually 3 sides of the ball.